up, y'all? Big Red here, coming at you another session of Earl's Curls. Yeah, Earl's Curls back for a limited time because thanks to Tulara's Cole, shouts out to you, brother. Talking about this Furious and the stacks, and it made me have to start rethinking. The Furious does stack, you know. And I'm gonna go in here in a second against the Guardian, show you why I kind of missed that. But anyway, I'm gonna retest the Furious version with the anti-armor and the vampires in there for control with Earl. He's more tankier. We'll get more sample size, but I'm gonna show you how we got there. We'll go through the Guardian, we'll go through the Snake, do several levels of testing, see what is the best variant of the Shredder. So thank you for my subscribers, everybody tuning and watching. I really appreciate y'all. What you expect from this channel is that I'm always going to go back and retest stuff. I'm going to try to be thorough the first time, but if y'all bring things in to highlight things, I'm going to go back and relook at your information, your input, and we're going to go back and test it. It's about us figuring out. It's not about me being right, it's about getting it right. I missed it because when I was testing with the pepper shaker and breaking the shield down, by the time the shield goes down, I got 20 stacks pretty instantly with pepper shaker. So when I switched my weapon over, I might only lose 1 stack, 2, no more than 3. So the damage that's why the damage would be jumping around, but I just didn't catch it. Because it all looked about the same. But I did some runs on Earl, I didn't use the Furious. I would have caught it looking at the stacks, but the Furious does stack. And that's why we're going to go back. These damage numbers are bugged, so we can't look exactly at the numbers. We need to look at the health bar and compare the health bar, how much health is going down, just like it was with strength, when strength ain't showing you no more damage, but it is doing more damage. So that's why we're going to go back and retest some of this stuff and to really get to the bottom. Is the Furious with all its stacks better than the anti-armor with its stacks? So the anti-armor does stack. I'll show that in a minute. It does. When you look at the resistances, it is stacking with stabilized, but how much of a difference is it making? Do you have to have a Furious? Do you have to have an anti-armor? That's what we're going to try to find out. And shouts out to you, Tulara's Gold. Thank you for your comment. It made me start digging a little bit more, and I always want to get things right. Even if I have to put another video out, it don't bother me. So that's what it's about, being a community. Sometimes I got the ideas, and sometimes you got the ideas, and I feed off that. So I feed off those feedbacks. You know, you're listening, you're heard, and you're appreciated. And we're going to look at the resistance real quick and how stabilized it's stacking with the Guardian, and then we'll do a run. Real quick, let's look at the resistances. You got your perception over 8, got it over 8, I got it at 16. What awareness used to do, you got to have your perception over 8 in order to be able to see resistances on the enemies. So that's what we're going to do. We'll jump over here, run it, and we'll show with the anti-armor, without stabilized, with stabilized, and then what the Furious is getting, just to try to give us an idea of what's going on with this anti-armor and stabilized. It's much like the strength, and no matter how much more strength you have, the damage numbers are bugged with the Shredder when it comes to strength, when it comes to a lot of things. You really have to really thoroughly study this weapon to see what the best effects are, because you can't just go by what you're getting on the damage cards and on the numbers on the screen. You got to look at the health bar. That's why I've missed it on several things on this, and I admit that, like I said. And the one thing about this channel, I'll eat crow, because that ain't about me and being right. It's about getting it right. That's about grit. That's what I got. Okay, we got anti-armor. We're getting 93. That's with stabilizing over its overall resistances. Now, like the Furious, we're getting 187. That's like a 90 difference, a 90-point difference on resistance. So that 45% extra, because you're getting 9 extra stacks, and actually less than that on the Guardian, because we're going to have pretty high stacks whenever we start off. That's let's put it on the anti-armor without stabilized, 170. So pretty big difference. That's like 70 difference. I mean, you actually show up in the damage, but it doesn't. And that 45 additive damage that the Furious gets I don't know if it's more than what we're getting with stabilized and armor penetration, but that's what this video's for. All right, let's get back to it.
I don't know why I'm trying to change weapons. It takes my thing off when I got the hood on, when I got the mask on. I had no idea. Bill's still saying a brick wall. We got the strength, basher. That's the most important thing. Stabilize, enforcer, of course, ricochet. You know, one gun army. Those are helping bring all the shield down and perfecting our damage. Solar powers give us a little extra strength, which doesn't show up on the damage numbers, but does show up on our his health bar. All right, so there's everything right there. Buffs, just got some bobblehead. I mean, not bobblehead. I got serums, got some negative effects for our strength. Our strength at 33, and let's join a team. Get our strength up a little bit higher. Let's see, now we're at 41. And I think I took I didn't take a Deathclaw Wellington on this. I do have a company team, a little crit damage for a Pepper Shaker. We got some AP buffs. Yeah. Your carnivore and your twisted muscles. That's what is important. Okay. Let's get out of there and let's show you with the Guardian, and then we'll go to the Snake, and then we'll get back to Earl. Earl, because he's such a tankier target, we'll be able to get a good comparison how much better is the Furious Shredder versus like the Ant-Armor. Let's reload this. Let's get our goo bag just a little bit, and let's take a little bit of coffee, maybe. Alright.
Alert. Unauthorized personnel detected. Activating defense system.
Yeah, I can't believe I didn't catch it, but I do work 60 hours a week, and I get a little bit of time to play, just like y'all do probably. I mean, I don't make money doing this. I do this for fun. I don't have all day to sit here and play. So, sometimes I'm not this thing, and that's why I need y'all. Point things out. And, are you kidding me? And the quicker I am with doing that, the more. Right now we're at 17. I'm messing that up. See, now we're at 20. So the quicker you are getting your weapon, 1791 is our damage number. Quicker you switch over to, you know, obviously the quicker you're not gonna lose any stacks. All right, let's come back and just do the Ant-Armor. All right, we're back with the Ant-Armor. Switch them around. My fast wheel will be right here. Let's get right to it. Sorry, I don't feel good today. Hopefully my voice ain't too bad. But I want to get this out here on this weapon so I can finally finish it and have 100%. Be 100% accurate in what I'm saying. I don't like. It's not that I want to be who I know it all, but I don't want to present any type of false information. Oh, it's going to delay. Ooh, we got close. That's why you got to listen to those clicks. I was kind of talking. But I always want to give you the right information. I was saying this weapon kind of kicked my butt, being a ghoul, and it's just the interactions with it is different than last time I played with it as a human. To be honest with you. Come on, if I had better criticals, it would. I don't have that on there because. Alright. We lost a few stacks, 1742, so it's a little off. We're at 16 stacks. Still goes by super quick. So quick, we'll slow it down so we can try to compare them. They're pretty neck and neck all the way. It looked like Ant-Armor was getting a little bit better than the Furious. Man, there's a lot of different variables. Server lag looked like it was pretty much a tie. Furious maybe about like a millisecond, but that's why we're gonna do more tests to really see some more tankier targets. I'm gonna do some snakey poo right now, and then we're gonna do several runs with Earl, try to figure this out together. Now here we are, we've got the Furious with the same effects, bash damage, 3 strength, pinpointer, shredder mod, celery barrel. Same power armor, +2 strength. Same buffs going. Deathfall Wellington giving us strength. Slow that down. I'm just trying to speed up a lot of runs I put in here. Basic build with Basher, radioactive strength. Alright, let me clip it in.
Alright, so I'll make sure everything looks good. Let's get our coffee ready. And I don't need a hard lemonade. Take a whiskey. Cycle buff. 58. About 20 coffee, probably enough.
Boom. Was it quicker than the ant armor? I don't know. It was pretty quick. Let's compare the two and let's see just how quick it was. Alright, same thing. Fast forward through. Just the ant armor run. Same build, same armor, same buffs, yada yada. And this weapon here, and it just kind of just sits on its own rules, and it's it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazily insane, but pretty crazily to also nail down to a T. Here we are. That's a lot in damage right there. That's adding 10, so very easy. The raid will give you cycle buffs. Alright, let's get our coffee. I'll probably overdo it. 10, probably do. Wakey, wakey, snakey, snakey. Alright, so we're getting 1051. That's 70-point difference from the 1119. You would think we'd be getting more, it'd be quicker, but it's not. 11:57 seconds is 14 milliseconds quicker. Definitely doesn't make sense. But the shredder numbers, like I said, are bugged. You gotta go by the health bar. At this point, it don't seem like the Furouis, even though it was getting more stacks, had higher damage numbers, was any more powerful than ant armor. It's the way the shredder works with bash damage. It's hard to measure. I mean, it is a Bethesda game. Some things just don't make sense, and it's kind of one of them. All right, we're gonna look at the resistances for the ant armor and for the Furouis. Give you an idea maybe why you know the Furouis is getting more damage, but stabilized and ant armor, we're getting better armor penetration, so it's making up the gap. 50 with the ant armor, stabilized, and 100. So that's a 50-point difference on this. That's a pretty big difference. Even though we don't see it on the damage numbers, I think we're seeing it on the health bar. Alright, now let's compare them. Alright, we got the ant armor on the bottom. They're going kind of pretty close neck to the neck, just a little bit. Ant armor is a little bit ahead. There at the end, ant armor closes the gap, but it is broken down like 0.3 speed. So real life really can't tell it that much. I mean, it was only milliseconds. So more damage doesn't mean you're getting more off the health bar on the damage numbers when ant armor is getting more armor penetration, but it ain't showing up on the damage numbers. So yeah, you do get more damage with it according to the numbers, but that doesn't mean it's better. But we still got one more round of tests, and we're going to see our, let's go see our buddy. Alright, welcome back to the main event, Earl's Curls, where we got our Furouis with, same rolls, bash damage, 3 strength, pinpointers, shredder, and accelerated barrel. Yeah, and this weapon is just, like I said, it's a class of its own for damage and for uniqueness, and got the same power armor on, same buffs, strength. You want to go back and polish some of that if you want to see, but everything's same. Deathfall Wellington going. Where perception's up high enough, we'll be able to see his resistances. basher, radioactive string, tenderizer, party boy, stabilize. We do got adrenaline. We're going to stack with our blowfly syringer. If you're a newer player, you'll know that when you shoot a target with the blowfly syringer, causes the spawn a boat fly. But you got 3 wendigos, and it gives you 3 more kills. It gives you 6, and you max your adrenaline going down the line.
Let's do a liquid courage, whiskey, cycle buff, 59 strength. Look, 79. That's his resistances with the Furious. That's what we got right now. We got the Furious 79 resistance, okay? Keep that in mind. What's up, Earl? We're getting 1,028. I think what's happening with the armor penetration is like what's happening with the strength. It just don't show up on the damage numbers, but that don't mean that you're not getting more damage. Almost got him pretty quickly. It's gonna be over. Boom. That's old school style right there. That's that old school style on our own. We used to get those. I mean, not as short as Captain Noob and all of a sudden if I forget someone's name, but anyway, but the shortest one was 1 second. Tier, my bad, Tier and Captain Noob, they were way ahead in this game before I got involved. I was a little bit later, like another year after that. I mean, started playing about that time though, but I was nowhere. I've been playing for like 4 years, probably like a year after launch. But anyway, yeah, definitely kind of old school style right there. Speed run, that is a speed run if I don't say so myself. Very OP.
How will it stack up with the Shredder? Huh? With Earl, we have a little bit more health. We have a bigger sample size, so we should be able to get a better comparison. So let's clip in the anti-armor. Let's see. All right, here we go. It's anti-armor, same rolls. Everything's fast forward for the sake of time in the video. You can always slow down, look at it. Same buff, strength is the same loadout, same approach. We try to stack our adrenaline up. Says let's stop in ambers. We use a blowfly syringer. Now, I do wind up realizing that when I was in my camp doing my camp item outside my armor, I dumped my fusion cores and I went to my ammo box, so I had to go back and grab a few fusion cores real quick. Popped that out the corner of my eye. I'm lucky. I'm glad I paid attention to the old beeping light. Fast forward that a little bit too much, but I want to get past that. Now here we are. We'll take a liquid courage, whiskey, and a cycle buff. Remember that it all adds to our strength. But make sure you do liquid courage and whiskey because it'll cancel it out. Don't cancel the whiskey out. All right, I forgot to click on the resistances, but I went back and I got one where I got to use every weapon and clip on, kind of like I do with the Guardian. We'll do that at the end of the fight. Look, 960 is the damage we're getting. I mean, at 1028 we have with the Furious, that's a 68-point difference. I mean, look at the ways we're shredding him up. This time, somebody being even better than the Furious. 24, 91 seconds. That's a second so faster. It's crazy. I'm telling you, figuring this weapon out, the exact damage numbers and what we're getting is pretty insane. Typical Bethesda fashion. So yeah, let's compare them together and let's see. You're like, stop. I know we didn't go throw this whole test all up and conjumbleize it. Well, yes, I did. Went back with the control with the vampire. Just trying to verify if, the anti-armor and stabilizers stacking together more. That we're not, because you're seeing it on resistances, but, we don't see it on damage numbers. And on the health bar, it seems like it has outperformed the Furious. So then we're going to throw in the vampires to see. It should perform a little bit less than the anti-armor if that was the case. You see, with it's 79 for the vampire, the anti-armor gets 39 resistance. That's a 40-point difference. between the Furious and the Vampire versus the Ant Armor, and that's the Ant Armor with no stabilize, 7-2. What's seeming to be is that either one of them you need, but you're not getting anything more when you have them stacked. Even though it's showing that you are, it's not being reflective on the damage. Not on the numbers, obviously, but also on the health bar, which that stands for me being correct on my first hypothesis of testing. Just looking at numbers, I didn't think it mattered as long as you had one or the other. And that seems to be true, because you're going to see this vampire get the best time. Now remember, there's server lag, and I thought it's pretty consistent where my numbers are hitting, but how many yellow numbers versus the white numbers, so there is all that to take consideration, but it wouldn't be as close as it is. And if they were stabilizing Ant Armor or stacking more and we were getting the actual that 20-point difference, it'd be more visual. And Vampire wouldn't have got a better time than both the Furious was getting more damage and the Ant Armor stabilized, getting more, having more armor penetration. So I would believe it has to do more with strength and with how Basher and Shredder, the Basher damage and Shredder interact together. Well, let's compare them all before we make a final conclusion. Alright, here we go. We can see I slowed the first part of it down to show you how close it really is and how Ant Armor seems like it's getting a little bit ahead of both of them when they were all getting consistent damage. The only problem is, it's not always getting a yellow number, or you don't really get staggered, but you might get change. You have to change, get back to your yellow numbers. But Ant Armor led the way for most of the race. And there at the very end, the Vampire sneaks up and gets a few seconds earlier than the Ant Armor, and the Furious falls right behind it. This doesn't mean that your Furious is trash. It just means that more damage numbers that you're seeing on the screen doesn't necessarily mean more damage direct on the health bar. It also doesn't mean that more armor penetration. As you see, we're getting more resistance brought down with Ant Armor stabilized. Doesn't mean that we're getting more off the health bar. I really believe it's in the interaction with radioactive strength, your own strength, and the way Basher and Shredder mix. That's like a hidden damage that you don't see reflective on the numbers, but you see it on the health bar. So that's why we could use the vampires with the same strength and be able to outperform them. And it was such a bigger deal with the Furious that it would have been a little bit closer. The Furious even would have outperformed them, but it didn't. So I know this seems all confusing. Bring it back to the first part, is that does it really matter what first star you have? I don't think it does. I think it matters on your strength and having those basic ingredients of radioactive strength, Basher, and stabilizing your build, and you're gonna be okay. Y'all let me know y'all's thoughts. Did these tests confuse you? Or did they help clarify some things? It took me a minute to get the video out. Like I said, I had COVID, because I kept testing, things just weren't adding up, and I finally had to go through do a lot more, and I finally think this is it. But I got to figure it out. It's hidden, and once you get your strength up high, like I said, and have those basic ingredients and radioactive strength and Basher and stabilized on no matter what the first star is, you should be able to get pretty close to the same performance. Don't look at the damage numbers, look at the health. Another classic case of a Bethesda reality where things don't seem like they are. And yeah, very interesting weapon, very powerful weapon. Hope you got one. I promise that I'm done making shredder videos for a little bit, and we'll jump on some more stuff. But let me know if this helped you out. If you did, like, subscribe, have your comments. Let me know your thoughts on it. I mean, you got some insight you think you have. Like I said, y'all in my community. Appreciate y'all. Couldn't do this without y'all. Y'all mean the world to me. So y'all's input, I value it. With all that being said, hope y'all thrive and survive out there. This is Big Red. I'll see you in the next one.